We're going live. Happy Monday, everybody.
It still says there we are.
Yes. Hello. Welcome,
friends,
to the Monday
Happy Monday
chat. Happy Monday to everyone.
Joyce and Sheila are here.
Hi, Sheila. Hello, Joyce. It's so nice to have you live with us, you busy gal. I thought it was awesome that you came on Saturday. That was super fun.
Joyce, you got to stick around for my inspiring exterior. There's a picture I threw in just for you.
Oh,
just for Joyce.
That's awesome. Well, I had a busy weekend.
You too did.
Yes.
Hey, Vintage Widow.
Hey, Chris. How you doing, love? Oh, my goodness. I had the wonderful privilege and joy to be a guest on Catherine Young's channel this Saturday, and we did a sale together, and I was just so thrilled, and it was a wonderful, albeit longer than planned sale, but it was great. It was so good.
It was great. Everybody in the chat was great.
Yeah, it was fun.
Lots of fun. You guys had lots of great items. Very tempting items.
I know. That's the thing, is every time I go to a sale, I'm always tempted. I think so many of our friends bring awesome items. I'm always finding something that I like.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was working. I was modding. So I did not have the opportunity to buy, which worked in my favor. Because otherwise, I would have been buying everything.
Yes.
I'm here in the chair this evening. Malcolm is co-piloting the chair right here. Can you see him?
I can barely see him. I just see the black spot where he is. I can't make out what parts are what parts. Just the kind of a black blob.
He's facing the back.
Hey, Amy. Hi, girl.
Hey, Amy. So what are you? Do you have a beverage this evening?
I just have water. I did not fix a lovely cup of tea like you did.
I had one of our Chinese instructors gave me a lovely oolong with osmanthus in it as a going away gift. And this, I'm just trying it for the first time, and it is delightful. I usually love jasmine oolong is one of my favorites, as long as the ratio of jasmine to green tea is correct. Though technically oolong is blue tea. That's a whole thing. But there's all different varieties of tea. Hey, Twist.
Hey, Twist. I can call you AE.
Feeling all right, Sheila? Which, okay? If y'all heard me on Saturday, I sound loads better today than I did on Saturday. I took myself to urgent care and got the coughing under control.
Yeah, that surprised me. I didn't realize when I saw you. I was like, whoa, you're sick.
Yeah.
Karen Gillette.
Hey,
hello,
Karen.
Lovely. Yeah.
How was everybody's Monday? It's snowing here.
Really?
Yes.
It's pretty. It's a pretty.
It better not kill all my magnolia blossoms, or I'm gonna be angry.
That's how it always goes.
Last year, a late freeze killed them all off.
Yep.
And it's pink right now. The blossoms are opening, so
they're gonna fall off. I hate to break it to you.
I don't want it to happen.
I know. That happens a lot here in Colorado, just because, it's freezing and then the sun will come out. And so the plants get all confused and they start coming out, and then they're like, whoa, they freeze, fall off. Still winter.
Oh, how are you doing with the time change?
Well, I'm not doing that I'm not having that hard of a problem because I can sleep in if needed. But how about you? How was your Monday morning? Yeah.
Well, I did not work today because I needed to rest, because when you can't control your coughing, you don't sleep very well.
Right.
So I did not work today. And I'm working from home tomorrow. It's spring break here, so things are very quiet. So my body picked a great time to just be like, no.
Right. Think you're going to have a relaxing week? Well, we're going to get sick instead.
We're going to get sick instead. But that's how my body works. You're going on vacation? Just you wait. Something's coming. No.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, no, Twist.
That's all right. Stay with us, girl.
And
Refresh.
If I start freezing or anything, let me know. I can go back to the living room. I'll have to go by y'all in the chat if I start freezing. Because for us on StreamYard, it always looks fine. But
yes,
if it starts getting glitchy, just tell me and I will move back to the center of the bower.
I always get disappointed if I am rewatching something and just to see the flow of how the chat was going, or if I wanted to read comments that I always miss. And then I realize, oh, look, I'm frozen. I didn't know that I was frozen.
No.
So
right, vintage went out. I mean, it's right 6 months out of the year. That's all that matters.
Are we talking about the clocks?
Yeah. What's the saying? Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, shall we begin?
Yes. I am bringing it up as we speak. Yes, and this isn't exactly a tablescape, but when I saw how cute these little slip covers were, I thought, well, they enhance and elevate your dining chairs if you're doing a beautiful tablescape. And it said I think I found this on Instagram. I thought it said that this was from Ballard Designs. So I looked up at the Ballard Designs website, and I don't think they still offer these really fun slip covers with the monograms. But, the monograms, they add such a personal touch. And, they really can make anything, whether it's bedding, a pillowcase, or a chair, just look, that extra finishing touch that I appreciate. So I was really disappointed because I was hoping that I, get the lowdown and see, how much they cost. And nope, couldn't find them on the website at all. So.
Well, if you find a slip cover like that, I guarantee there are local sewing or quilting organizations near you who can put your monogram on it for significant savings.
Right. So I still thought, I'm like, well, this is still a great idea just to keep in the back of our minds, just in case, we find just the right fabric, or maybe you find a pretty little slip cover where you could take it to someone and have it personalized for you.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm going, Friday is my theme. So we're looking at St. Patrick's Day. And I just really like this tablescape. It was very simple, but there were, instead of going all out, Erin Go Bra situation, this was just focused on spring greenery more. And I really liked how they put those moss balls on these wooden candlesticks. Look like tiny topiaries.
They do. I love topiaries.
And then this person uses this. What's in the center is an old dough bowl, and she uses it for lots of different holidays. And I love the jug. It was so soft and springy and pretty, and the different little herbs and fake plants shoved into different cream crockery. And she also tucked in some deer antlers. So a little sound, slightly macabre, I think. But and for the placeholder, she had little vintage postcards that we all,
Oh, that's
the rest,
perfect. That's
to add a
perfect.
little extra color to the tablescape. And then I zoomed in on this one part because she had like a moss nest with a wooden bird. And then the tiny little creamer has greenery in it too. Like,
Oh,
I
it's
just loved it all.
it's
I thought it was
perfect.
lovely. So
Oh, I love this, Angela.
that's my tablescape for
From
today.
the dough bowl to
I
the
love that. I'm going to keep an eye
postcard.
out for a dough bowl because I like the idea of, you can corral your things,
Mhm.
your centerpiece. And then if you need your whole table, you can just lift that up, move
Right.
it to your buffet
Mhm.
if you have one, so that you can use the whole space. If you're going to like break out a game night or something like that,
Yep.
makes it much more user-friendly.
Yes.
And I love
I
the white tulips too. So very spring.
it's wonderful. All of it. Every little detail is great.
I almost did this.
Did you? Did you
I
see?
have always loved her window.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
This is the first time I saw it. It's just the post just came up. This is one of our friends. A lot of you probably know Tammy over at Vintage Uprising, Texas. She has a YouTube channel and so she posted this on Instagram. This is her collection of enamel flower brooches in this wonderful window shelf setup she has going. But I mean, what a really
And
impressive
they're all
collection.
mainly in flower frogs too. So
Yes. So just the sheer quantity and then the impact of all of them
see
together.
how it's grown just over this past year is great. Yeah.
So
Fantastic
that was really fun.
collection.
Yes.
So I have to find this picture. So this comes from Biscotteria. I'm pretty sure this is in California somewhere. But they have this display of Daruda biscotti jars specifically because they're Biscotteria. And then I went down a Daruda rabbit hole. May have to do a history highlight on that at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found these other two pictures of Daruda collections that were just so lovely. Even like a small one here on the right, which I didn't realize they had like these portrait ones.
I had one of those plates, but I sold it on my Etsy shop, and now I'm regretting it.
I really like it.
Yeah.
Twist. Shut the barn door. So,
Yeah.
and obviously these are displayed in very different ways. Like here in that hutch shelf situation, all gobbled together, and it looks like an old, armoire wardrobe.
Yes.
Shelf situation, or highlighted on a buffet with some pretty candlesticks.
Yeah.
But now I do want to learn more about. I didn't really have a name for this Italian pottery until I looked this up. So now I do.
All right. I added a second one because I found this really sweet picture of a little collection of molds. Again, I know I just did all the chocolate molds. I guess I just like molds. But the photography was great. And some of these molds, like the one with the thistle looking design, I really like those thistle designs. I have never found one in the wild, and they are very collectible. So, they do command a fairly high price tag. So I would like to find one out thrifting or at an estate sale or something. But I think this is a super fun collection. I'm sorry, you said something about the cat?
I said you just got to put it out there.
Oh, yes. Putting it out there makes a difference. Definitely.
All right.
Do any of y'all have a collection of butter molds? Like, it's kind of a pretty long-standing item where it's been a collectible type piece for so long.
Well, it's just because it has such good texture. Like usually it's wood, but it's carved and Some
Yeah.
have great age to them, and the subject matter can vary greatly. So
Mhm.
I do love the thistles. Being
Yeah.
a Scottish lass myself.
Yeah.
Oh, so my media must. We're going down a different avenue here, per usual, with me. So these little creatures are called beacorns. They're created by an artist. His name is David M. Bird, which you see here. I found him first on Instagram. But I just found out that he has recently started a YouTube channel as well, where he
Oh,
does the process of creating these little beacorn creatures. He used to be a Lego designer, but as he says, he traded in his bricks for acorns and sticks. So he does. So he creates these little creatures, and then he takes them out in the world to interact with nature.
Mhm.
And I love his Instagram because he always has like little blurbs, like explaining what's happening. Like here, you see the bird taking off from the head of this little one, and says,
Yeah.
even with her best helmet, the bird takeoff still rattled Junie's brain, but she didn't mind. It was a small price to pay to experience such majestic creatures.
So is he he's photoshopping these
No,
together, right?
no, no. So he raised this monarch caterpillar, like he found it, raised the caterpillar, arranged it to cocoon and grow, and created this creature with the face, planted it, and then had a camera set up, taking pictures throughout the whole process.
Oh my
Not
gosh.
this is actual photography, not Photoshop. And
Wow.
which that was my first thought as well.
Mhm.
Because like this he took this at 3 a.m. because the creature is inside of a frozen soap bubble. I think he's in Rhode Island. So I too thought Photoshop, but he now has, I think there's 4, I say on the next slide here.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
his process. He does the process behind the videos. And I
So
think the very first one is about this baby bluebird. He built a birdhouse to figure out how to get the bluebirds to, spend time in his yard.
yeah.
And then when the baby bluebirds were about to fly, he figured out the best place to put his little beacorn and
Oh my gosh.
set up a tripod to, yeah.
So is this the mother bird?
That's a baby bird.
That's a baby bird.
It's a baby
Okay.
bird, I think. They're so good. And he does sell, which I think, oh no. On his website, you can buy, he has calendars, or
Mhm.
you can buy greeting cards or full prints. But I really recommend checking out his Instagram. He also does little reels of the process. So,
Wow.
like if you just want like a little glimpse into it without going to the YouTube for the full process behind it, it's really fun to watch because
Yeah.
I don't have the patience. But he sketches out his ideas too. So he's like, this is what I want it to look like, and then he figures out how to let nature and his creatures come together.
It's mind-blowing, the photography.
Yeah.
It's next level.
And the face is like, if you could zoom in on the face of the little the girl beacorn with the bird taking off, she's like, ooh, like it's so great. It's so great. So
Wow.
that's my media must.
Holy cow.
David
It's
and Bird.
amazing. My mind is blown. So I did not do a media must, just because I didn't have one. So we're gonna go move on to inspiring interiors. And I think I picked 2 of them. This one is the kitchen of Dita Von Teese. She shared it, several years ago on Architectural Digest. And I mean, her whole house is very drama, darker colors. The kitchen is probably my favorite, with the malachite green. And of course,
And the
actual
copper.
malachite paper and the copper. So just a fun, it's a mix because the kitchen itself looks like it's about maybe 20s era
Mm-hmm.
but her chairs in the back, I mean, those look so 60s, those chairs. So definitely some Hollywood Regency in there, but fun. She's not afraid of some dark colors, that's for sure.
And she has those big windows, so that helps a lot.
Yeah.
The copper is great. I love that pot filler. I'm like, oh, must be a lot of pasta happening.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to see her work it, I think it's an Architectural Digest, the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So, and then this, I thought the whole room was perfect. Everything about it I loved. But of course, I stopped because of the bed cover, very much in the style of a tapestry, although I don't think it's that old, but I loved the coverlets, some wonderful gilt mirrors over the bed, and then the Santos doll on the wall in the corner. So I said, "Oh yeah, that's an interior that inspires me." Yes, please. I'll take that. So yeah, I like that.
Nice. Oh, you have Rustic Reborn. I mixed it in.
Rustic Reborn. Yeah.
My interior exterior is very long, so I had to smush all yours together.
Yeah. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I just saw the pictures and was like, well,
It's very cute.
If we did talk about it, I'm talking about it again. I couldn't remember. But how cute. Like, I officially now want one of these. And a lot of times I don't know, and I need to see a picture to kind of get my brain kickstarted. And so now that I have these in my head, I'm okay. I feel like it's full of whimsy, but these pictures especially, it's mostly just greenery. Like, it's too hard to put together.
And most of it's dry or artificial. Yeah. So there's no keeping it alive.
Yeah. So just super charming, but very doable.
And friendly to cats.
Yeah.
They're super cute. I love the little, and you can make those mushrooms really easily yourself, actually.
Yes.
Some air dry clay.
Yeah.
No. We could do a crafting together. I'm sure I have some teacups I can send home with you for this purpose.
We could do it.
Our anniversary show.
Yeah.
You guys want to craft together for our anniversary show? Oh, twist. Heather Elizabeth did a whole history highlight on the Santos dolls.
Yeah.
A number of weeks ago.
Yeah. Go back to the playlist and look for, there's a picture of a Santos doll right on the thumbnail.
Yep. It's like, if I have a chance while Heather Elizabeth is talking, I'll find the link for you. Okay, my inspiring exterior. So, as you can tell, this weekend I was not well. So, I spent a lot of time watching things, and I didn't want to watch anything that was going to make me stressed. And I happened upon on Prime Video this documentary called The Gardener. It was about this guy, Mark Cabot, who took his family summer home and turned it into this world-renowned garden called the Jardin des Quatre Vents, the Garden of Four Winds, which is what the French call, like, the Four Directions, in La Malbaie in Quebec. This is just one little corner of the garden, and I think it's like 200 acres. It's big. Maybe 200 miles. It's large. It's a very large property. And it is a private garden. But 4 Saturdays every summer, they allow people to purchase tickets to come in and see it. And, hello, Amine. And you have to, be online to get a ticket, in December the year before. So you're already out of luck for this year. But it's now on my list of places I would love to see because this garden, it's fantastic. So he was a venture capitalist, coming from a family of venture capitalists, but he wasn't a fan of the business world, so he retired early and just decided to make this garden into a place that made him happy.
Wow.
Using influences from all over. So he wasn't trained to be a landscape architect. But so this is one part.
Just one part.
We're just gonna. I just found lots of pictures, and well, yeah, you'll just see.
Wow.
Yeah, it's.
He created his own little Versailles, didn't he?
Well, yeah. Like he went and he saw French gardens, English gardens, and he took the bits that he liked and put it into practice, in his own garden.
Wow.
He liked this idea of the bridge. So he built a bridge.
He built this.
Yeah. Wow. I'm sure not by himself. He has gardeners and he has architects helping him, but the ideas were his own and how he wanted the views. Like he wanted it to be an experience. And he has like a specific way he wants you to experience the garden. So like on those Saturdays, you tour it in a very specific way. It's a lot like if you've ever been to any of the Frank Lloyd Wright houses, like they want you to approach it from a certain way, like Falling Water here in PA. Like they want you to approach it from a very specific viewpoint.
Wow.
Here's one of those little like very English
walled garden kind of.
Walled garden. Oh, hello. And then he liked the idea of follies. So he added a little Japanese. This was like a retiring house that samurais would have built once they retired to sit in and reflect. And it's lovely. Wow. Like he worked with.
Oh, I am like wondering, does he have tea here or it's just a meditation room or?
Yeah, you can have tea here. You can just hang out.
It's just amazing.
Enjoy the Japanese style garden that's on that side. And then he went to France and he saw these pigeonniers and he was like, need one of those. So, and this is where exterior meets interior in this case. Because he decked out the inside.
Oh my gosh.
So there's this little, escape. There's a little bed nook upstairs, I forget what he called it, a more or something. And then in the pigeonnier, there's a whole set of pottery devoted to the garden. Like there are scenes from the garden on the pottery in the folly. In the garden.
Yes.
I feel like he and I would get along really well with
I know.
Just go with the theme. If you like it, just go with it. Just do it.
I'm just how many years did he put into this project?
And then he was, he got to know a lot of people who also, devoted their lives to their gardens. And then when those people are gone, what happened? So he developed the Garden Conservation Society, which works to protect, private and public gardens like that.
Okay.
So I don't think he's still with us because I think he was in his 80s when they made the documentary a few years ago. But I did not look that up. But Mark Cabot and his wife, they both put their heart and souls into this garden. And then he also liked a little bit of whimsy. So like you would be walking and you would look down, an aisle of structured garden. And there would be a
Oh my
big crowd.
God. You just turn a corner and there you go.
And you know, if you pass in a certain way, it would play music. Music would come from the frogs. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Get out of town.
I mean, this would be an epic field trip, Heather.
Yes.
Saying.
How far away is Quebec from
me?
From you?
It's only about 8 hours.
Wow.
I think 8 to 10 driving.
Yeah.
So I recommend checking out the documentary. I found it on Amazon Prime. It might be available on other services. It's called The Gardener. He also developed a book that I think you can find on Amazon and other services. And I think it's just the name of the garden, Les Quatre Vents. And you can learn even more about it. I found it fascinating, and it was a lot of fun to watch him, because he was talking about it and how he put each part of it together, and you can see a lot more of the detail and how it's laid out and how it evolved. And it was a nice hour while I coughed my head
It's
off.
amazing. I definitely want to go. If they give tours, it should be a consideration.
Just 4 Saturdays a year.
Wow.
And those 4 Saturdays benefit one of I think it's an ecological society up in Quebec, and it raises a lot of money for it. So,
wow.
Hey, Kathy.
Awesome. Hey, Kathy.
So, that
amazing.
Yes. Regular segments.
Yes. And really quick, I want to say hello, Amin. I have had him as a subscriber from almost the very beginning. And usually with timing, I'm surprised to see him, but I want to say hello. It's good to see you. And Denise, I saw Denise come in. She's somewhere up the top. Denise, hey. Okay, so for my history highlight, I am doing another kind of associated with Wedgwood, but it's a specific line that was put out around the teens. 1915 is when this came out, and it is called Fairyland Lustre. And you guys, I had never seen this before, and I thought this would be really fun. Just a little bit of background on the person who designed these, because it actually was a lady, and her name was Daisy Makeig-Jones. And most of this is going to be photos, but I do want to give you a little bit of background on Daisy. Born in 1881 in a small mining village in England, her birth name was Susanna Margaretta, but she liked to go by Daisy. She showed artistic talent from a young age, went to the Torquay School of Art for a short time, was introduced to Cecil Wedgwood, and almost immediately was hired as an apprentice painter at the Wedgwood Company in 1909. So she was doing really well at the factory. By 1911, she was designing her own tableware. And in 1913, she began to design her own patterns. This was not a common thing. Like this, I don't know what it was about her, but she just really was received well in the company. And by 1914, was given her own studio. Because usually they would bring in well-known designers to actually make the designs for the pieces that they were putting out at this time. So it was just really rare that they picked up one of their artists in-house and gave her these opportunities. And so she got her own studio in 1914, and in 1915, was when she introduced her luxury porcelain line called Fairyland Lustre, inspired by the fantasy worlds of elves, fairies, goblins, and ghosts. And really quick before I show you this stuff, hang on, you guys, hang on. I just want to go through, because this was a luxury line, this went through a lot of steps to get made and was expensive. It's really expensive now, but it was very expensive at the time it was produced. So from her original design idea, she did preliminary sketches, then had to carefully prepare a finished drawing. The transition from the drawing to the lustrous porcelain involved a succession of skilled craftsmen, including engravers, printers, transferers, stipplers, painters, luster appliers, gilders, and burnishers. And it also required several kiln firings. So another thing about the Fairyland Lustre is a lot of variations in coloration exist with the pieces, and they put them on a lot of different shapes. And each one of those shapes required its own transfer. So now, you guys, get ready. This is the ghostly wood. Yeah, this is Wedgwood. This was the popular line of the luxury porcelain that they were coming out with at the time. Isn't this amazing? And I'm going to show you another piece of the ghostly wood, which looks different, because she would make these elaborate drawings, and depending on the piece, they would depend on what they would be featured.
Yeah, what they would show on it.
So this is the ghostly wood pattern as well.
I see
and
that
if you look at the plate and you follow the tree all the way up, there you can kind of see that little black goblin. The little black goblin is up there, but he's less prominent on the plate. It's more of a hand-out design.
And those shrouded figures are more on that ginger jar.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and the collars are more like ethereal on the ginger jar, and then like the oranges and reds on the plate are more. Joyce?
Yes, I would say that don't go specifically by intensity, because I was trying to make the pictures as clear as possible.
Yeah.
So I might have high contrasted the plate a little more, than reflects its actual what it looks like in reality. I was just really trying to get. I know the amount of work.
It's like a dark Alice in Wonderland vibe.
I know.
With the bunny.
Yeah, this was one of my favorite patterns, but it's. I know. It's amazing. So there's a lot of designs.
It's giving me very like Russian lacquer vibes too, like with how the images are.
It could be that she was influenced by several different types of art.
Oh, I'm sure.
You definitely see influences of Asian art in her work. Obviously, like the subject matter. And one of the things I was researching on her, it was saying how, she was born 1880s. So, the late Victorian time period, a lot of children's books had to do with, fairies and things like that. So that definitely she brought with her when she was creating her art pieces. But really, really beautiful. And I'll just read this really quick excerpt. During these early years, just before the First World War, Europeans' appetites for luxurious dinnerware was still strong. The classical designs of previous decades were falling out of style. The graceful nature-inspired designs of the Art Nouveau movement was in vogue, and the creative, ethereal, and sometimes bizarre designs of Fairyland Lustre were exactly what the public was looking for. Some have even gone so far as to call the patterns escapist, suggesting that consumers enjoyed the whimsical pieces as a distraction from the war. Now, this one was one of my favorites. This is candle moss, but this is candle moss in 3 different kind of color variations.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, was a really fun because I was able to find 3 pieces of this design, but how different it could look depending on how they decided to apply the gilding, apply the color, how they fit it onto the piece, whether it was more of a flared vase or like more of a traditional shape. But I really liked this one a lot.
That's so pretty.
I know that's what it is.
Candlemas is what, February 2nd. That's when in medieval times they would take down their Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
That's why I waited until February to take down my Christmas decorations.
Yes. And I really liked this jeweled tree.
Oh.
It makes you think of Gustav Klimt, like his art almost.
Yeah.
The tree, the way the patterns are. And the Fen Huang vase. Fen Huang is the Chinese closest bird to a phoenix. So that's what it's the Chinese phoenix there on that one. And
I mean,
guess
if you go back just a second, like that looks almost cloisonné, you know, the way the tree is at the top.
A lot. Yes, I agree very much. I would assume that all of those influences, were put into it. But it's, to me, part of the greatest thing about it is just the subject matter. You don't often see cloisonné with ghosts and goblins patterned on it.
Why not?
I know, exactly. That's what Daisy thought. Why not? And I think people really liked it. So these are plaques. And a lot of these patterns that I'm sharing with all of you are very, very expensive. So if you, by any chance, come across a piece of porcelain that looks like this and has a fairy or a ghost or a goblin on it, where it seems like you might think, oh, that's from the 70s because there's a fairy on it. Look at the bottom. Look and see if it says Wedgwood made in England. Because pieces like this right here are over $10,000. Yeah. Not all the designs, but designs like this one, like it has all of the fantasy creatures in it. And if they're in good shape,
like I'm having, like, there are images on this that I am like flashing to like Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And I'm like, was J.R.R. Tolkien like,
did
his grandmother have this when he was a kid? And
there was an article that was mentioning J.R.R. Tolkien, who said that he started writing after World War I. But
most of the series he wrote during World War II.
Yeah, so most of these pieces came before that, but it just goes to show that like Tolkien as well was probably influenced by a lot of things the same way Daisy was. So it wasn't them that necessarily created it. It was just it was the trend. It was what was kind of popular that was going on with imagery and stories, I think.
Very cool.
And then this was a really pretty plate. This photograph was pretty nice. And
I mean, that looks like the Ring of Power around the outside.
I know. What did you just say?
Oh, that's part of what's written on the ring. One ring.
Oh,
yeah. Dark
All
elvish.
right. So just some more beautiful examples. Just one of those things where once I saw that Fairyland Lustre existed, I said, I got to show everybody.
Yes.
I got to show y'all. And there's plenty more designs if you want to try to look. I know. I like this one too. Do you see the spider web? Do you see this? Look at the spider web.
I
Angela.
know. I know.
Isn't that great?
Because it like takes everything I love, like Art
I
Nouveau,
know.
but creepifies it a little bit.
Yes.
That's
That's
me.
what I thought too.
Art Nouveau, but creepy. Bring it
I
on.
thought the same thing. And I did not know. I did not know that Daisy existed. I did not know that this Fairyland Lustre line existed. But there are a lot of collectors, and I saw a lot of websites where, you know, that were advertising like, do you have Fairyland Lustre? We will buy it from you. And in a lot of websites, you can find it on First Dibs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really quick. We're going to go to kind of when it died off. So the Fairyland Lustre line.
Like, along the same line as Elegant Glassware, you know, it just hit that.
Yes. So it had exceptional popularity for a decade, but after World War I, the willingness to purchase luxury items grew increasingly slim with the Great Depression in America. In 1929, the line was discontinued, beginning a downward spiral for Daisy. She was a visionary who did not want to let others interfere with having control over her craft. And apparently in the company, they said her erratic decision-making and behavior eventually became too difficult. They didn't like her giving two shits about her work. And she was forced to retire. So unfortunately, the Wedgwood company lifted her up and pushed her down, unfortunately. But let's see. Despite her stormy exit legacy at Wedgwood is one of creativity and innovation. So that's the one wonderful thing about art and this sort of thing is, you know, even if you end up leaving the company on bad terms, your art is still out there and it is very collectible today.
Mm-hmm.
Because it had such a short production time, the examples that do exist are very collectible.
What, only 15, 16 years?
Well, it did say that they were still making it. So I think that like the designs stopped.
Okay,
like
but they were still
producing
making
new designs, but they did still produce some of the designs that already existed until 1940. But she left in 1931. So so even when she left, there was exactly. After 1929, there was nothing new. But really quick, so you can see here, the blue vase is on the Sotheby's website, and it is available now for $15,000. And then this one on the right, the tree serpent, that sold in 2004 at Christie's for $13,000. So,
do you have a picture of what the markings on the bottom look like?
I wish I had done that, but it basically is in gold, and it looks like a little piece of pottery, and it says Wedgwood and then made in England. But I'm sure you could look it up if you are really interested. I should have done that, so sorry, guys. But
so it doesn't say anything about Fairyland Lustre on it.
No, this is what I saw was in gold. It said Wedgwood made in England, but right over the Wedgwood was like it looked like a little pot, like a little vase.
Like a little urn.
Gold. Like a little urn in gold. Yes, very much like that. All right. Oh, and really quick, this was my last slide, but there is a book that exists on this. And when I found it, but it's a pricey book. So even if you guys can find the book, it's worth getting.
Sign up on Church Books. Oh, I really like that one in the middle.
Yeah, I know.
It's like fairies and bubbles is what it looks like.
It's I put a lot of pictures, but I wanted to put so many more just because they definitely have the same looks. I think now that you've seen it,
Yeah.
if you saw one, you should be able
Something
to
like that.
recognize it.
Yeah.
I would think, but definitely where the money is if it's going to have a creature. There are some pieces that just have butterflies and things like that that do not command the same sort of prices. You definitely would want to look for the goblins, the fairies, the ghosties. Yeah.
I'm guessing we can see some in the V&A museum based on this.
Yes.
Just gotta go to London.
Yep. We all have to do a London trip, you guys.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame.
But so gorgeous. And I had never heard of Fairyland Lustre, nor had seen it until I was doing my Wedgwood research. And so I said, okay, we're going to have to table that, do that next time.
That's amazing. I'd never heard of it, which I love. And now I want a piece.
Well, I don't know if that's in my reality, but you never know. Now that we know it exists.
Some goodwill somewhere.
What we'll see. Yeah.
Some estate sale. You never know.
Some mistake. You don't know.
You never know.
Yeah.
Well, so are y'all in the mood for a poem? If you're not in the mood for a poem, tell me now. Because hey, it worked for me, you know?
I did not know that, Sheila.
Oh, it's another reason to go, Sheila.
Another reason.
Just keep giving us reasons.
We need to plan a trip. We're going to go to England. We're going to go to the V&A Museum.
So if you saw my little short last weekend, I found a new to me antique bookstore. And whilst looking through the poetry section, I happened upon this book. And of course, I love the cover art. If you want to make me bigger for a second.
Oh, sure. Let's see.
See if the light will.
There we go.
So I love the artwork. But then I looked at it, and so it's ballads and poems from the Glasgow Ballad Club. So in 1876, the lads of Glasgow decided they wanted to have a ballad and poetry society. And then in 1903, they decided to put some of their members' poetry together and publish it. This was the third edition. So this one came out in 1908. And I was like, St. Patrick's Day is coming up. What could be more Irish than a poem from the Glasgow Ballads and Poetry Society?
I'm ready. Are you going to do it in an accent for us?
No. You can read it along if you want to add my...
Oh, okay.
I took a picture of it.
Okay.
Oh, because it was themed. It's called The Invitation. Come, Fieldwood. I should have done red leather, yellow leather. Here we go. Come, fieldward, let us fare, and bid goodbye to care. For this one day, at least, our eyes and ears shall feast on beauty and sweet song. So hasten, come along, for hill and dale now dress in springtide loveliness. The winter-long repose of daisy and primrose has ended all the earth. Awakes to joy and mirth. Boughs burgeon into bloom and scatter sweet perfume. The flaunting daffodils now dance beside the rills, and from each sprouting tree, the speckled thrush in glee pours liquid melody. The lark in spiral flight sings loud of love's delight. The blackbird plays his flute. There's not a small bird mute. Come forth and let our books be trees and running brooks, for they shall teach us more of Mother Nature's lore than all our learned men can teach by tongue or pen. We'll climb the hill and stand where we may best command a wide expanse of field and farm, half-leaf concealed, fresh woods and meadows green with rivulets between. Then gazing up on high, watch marching clouds go by in gorgeous pageantry. Looking with loving eyes on all that round us lies, will grow devoutly wise. Our happy hearts shall beat, in tune with all things sweet. So let us fieldward fare, to breathe perfumed air, and nature's gladness share.
Beautiful.
I'm ready for spring. Can you tell?
Yes. I liked that line of let our books be trees.
Yes, let our books be trees and running brooks. So I liked it.
Yes.
There was some about winter, and I was like, I've had enough of winter. It's snowing today. Give me spring.
Oh, well.
And I tried to find, so it's a heavily deckled book. Like, look.
Oh, wow.
How it was
Gorgeous.
made.
Gorgeous.
And that poem was by a lad named Andrew Wells. And I tried to go on the internet to find out anything about him, and it failed me. Yeah. So just know that he produced that poem somewhere between 1876 and 1908.
Wow.
So there's that.
Amazing. And yeah, we still get snow sometimes all the way up through mid-May. So you never know when spring is really going to happen.
And I put magnolias all over it because my magnolia is out there.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay alive. That was my poem prayer, to preserve my magnolia blossoms.
Yes.
Okay, universe. And speaking of putting things out into the universe, you should make yourself bigger.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. So I brought a favorite thing. And if you were all here with us last Monday on Angela's channel, then you might remember one of my choices for celebrating collections was animal needlepoint pillows. And I showed you the one bunny rabbit I have and that I wanted more. Well, not a week later, look who comes into my life.
Hooty hoo.
Hoo-hoo. Look what I found, you guys.
He's so cute.
Great. Oh my gosh. I put it out in the universe. Oh, look what I got.
Does he just have one monocle? Is that what I see?
Yeah. Yep. It's little gold thread. That
amazing.
And then it's loose here. So like so it just kind of hangs. It just kind of hangs down. I don't know if it was meant to be attached somewhere, but it's just a little loose guy there. But I love him.
He needs a little pocket so he can tuck his monocle in it.
Oh yeah, but
it's not coming off.
Thrilled with him. So
he's so cute.
Yeah, he's
in really good shape too.
Yeah. So pretty excited. Did you bring a favorite thing?
My book was my favorite thing.
Okay. All right.
I have many new books.
You guys, it's perfectly we did a perfect hour, Angela.
Yeah, that's good.
Let me go back. All right. Oh my goodness. Well, that was fun.
It's the chair vibes. We got the chair, chandelier. We're all good. And the tea. Oh, hey, Erin.
Hey, Erin.
Well, I hope everyone has a fantastic week. I do actually. I have a sale on Wednesday. I think it's going to be simultaneously on my channel and Crack and Christine's channel. It's a nerd sale. We're selling nerdy things.
Nerds. Okay.
Not dirty. Nerdy. With an N. Okay. So.
Okay, and that's on Crack and Christine.
Yeah, and it might also air simultaneously on my channel. We're trying something. Okay. So
you have to show me how to do that.
Either way, you will find the link on my community page as soon as it's up and running. And it'll be me, Kraken, Caroline, and Bridget. So it's gonna be a full house. Just 10 items each. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. And then next Monday, come back to my channel for the next episode of B&B.
Yes.
And
yes.
And it's either going to be more fans or something special. So
also, if you're not doing anything tomorrow night, I'm going to be a guest on Mimi's Treasure
With
Cottage.
Cindy.
Cindy. Beautiful, lovely, awesome Cindy. So if you would like to come to a vintage sale, mostly Easter
It's
and
not booze and boozed. Brocante and Bergamot. You can B&B with B&B though. We're not shy. You can B&B with B&B.
you can B&B with me. I
B&B.
love this. We should do something with that.
I feel like that's our getaway weekend. Like,
yeah, exactly. Some sort of
B&B
theme.
with B&B.
Yes.
There's a winery near me that you can rent a house at. So I don't know what the thrifting and antiquing is like there, but
yeah,
could be fun.
Has potential.
All right, y'all.
All right.
I hope you have a fantastic evening.
Yes,
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for coming.
And
we love all of you.
We'll see you next week.
Yes, we'll see you next week on Angela's channel. Take care. Have a wonderful week.